After graduation, I fooled everyone into becoming mercenaries. Introduction. After the college entrance examination, everyone got rid of their student status. A small group of former friends gathered together, exchanging cups, and everyone was worried about their grades and the future. Soon, everyone was drunk. At this moment, Shen Feng, who had obtained the squad leader of the mercenary system, suddenly spoke up. "I'll give you a whole AK, get you a raffles, grow bigger and stronger, and create more brilliance." Under a deception, a mercenary team was actually formed. The former physics guru used formulas to accurately calculate missile landing points, making it easy to avoid them. A former chemical expert, take out a few bottles of potions and neutralize enemy gas attacks every minute. In just 10.5 days. The graduate mercenary organization is resounding worldwide. A well-known tycoon said, "I am willing to build a gold mine and only ask for graduates to protect me for 7 days." A certain fraud gang said, "I will never cut my waist again. I beg graduates to spare us from dying." Chapter 1. Rampant Criminals, is it true that no one can sanction them? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Please, think of a way to save my daughter. My daughter is only 18 years old. She has just finished taking the college entrance examination and is still going to college. I don't want her to die in a foreign land like this. Please help my daughter. In front of the camera, a middle-aged woman with gray hair is crying bitterly. She kept folding her hands in front of the camera, praying for help. That heartbroken, fragile and helpless appearance really makes listeners sad and those who hear it cry. Through the woman's narration in front of the camera, gradually, the audience also understood the whole story. Originally, it was the little daughter of this poor mother who had just taken the college entrance examination and was deceived by her classmates into being in the 6th district. After losing contact for about half a month, the criminals in the 6th district have actively contacted the girl's family. They sent videos of the girl being imprisoned, beaten, tortured, and abused to her family. And used this as a blackmail to demand a ransom of 500,000 yuan from the girl's family. If the family does not give money, they will treat the girl in a more cruel way, threatening to sell every valuable organ on her body, even every drop of blood. Even at the end of the video, these criminals also played another cruel video. That is the complete process of a man being subdued by criminals and having his heart dug out alive in a relatively conscious state. The whole process was accompanied by the man's wailing and helpless plea for mercy. The girl's family members were scared out of control when they saw the video. Ordinary families cannot offer a ransom of 500,000 yuan. With a strong desire to save her daughter, the mother of the girl had no choice but to seek help from the media and the police. The police are actually powerless to address the vicious kidnapping and extortion incident that originated in the 6th district. After all, the 6th district is not within their jurisdiction. This is actually a chaotic and disorderly parallel world. There is no distinction between countries in the whole world. After the outbreak of an apocalyptic disaster, the world was divided into 9 major regions, ruled by different forces. Each region is independent of each other and has agreed not to interfere with each other's internal affairs. So law enforcement officers from each region are unable to carry out any law enforcement activities within the other region without authorization. Otherwise, it will be considered as an intrusion. The only thing the police in the 9th district can do in the face of this situation is to issue a reward notice and warn criminals not to act recklessly. Another way is to try to find ways to contact chambers of commerce located in the 6th district and affiliated with the 9th district, etc., in an attempt to rescue the girl. However, it is evident that these measures have not achieved ideal results. However, in reality, this matter is not an exception. In the past 2 years, fraud, gambling, and other illegal activities originating from the 6th district have been exceptionally active. Criminals use various means to lure compatriots in the 9th district to illegally cross the planned area and reach the 6th district. When they reach the 6th district, they will immediately control every person who has been deceived and detain them personally. And torture others in insults, beatings, and even more brutal ways, threatening them to engage in various illegal activities and seizing massive illegal benefits. In just 3 or 4 years, there have been thousands of similar incidents exposed online alone. The victims affected by the incident are widely distributed in every part of the 9th district. However, as the number of events exposed increases, criminals from the 6th district are becoming increasingly rampant. They not only did not receive the punishment they deserved, but also intensified their efforts to lure and harm the residents of the 9th district through more diverse means. No one knows how to effectively curb and combat the rampant behavior of these criminals. Rongxing Hotel, in a private room. Shen Feng is attending a graduation party with several close classmates. From now on, they will completely bid farewell to their high school life, complete compulsory education, graduate, and become responsible adults. Everyone was drinking heavily and the atmosphere was high. At this time, a classmate caught a glimpse of the news on TV and couldn't help roast. Alas, this kind of news can be seen almost several times a month. I don't know what these people's minds are thinking, why are they so easily deceived? Everyone followed his words and turned to the TV, just in time to see the scene where a mother with gray hair cried out to the camera about her daughter being deceived and kidnapped by criminal forces in the 6th district. For a moment, everyone frowned, each with their own emotions. Hey, Liang Chaoshu, can you have some sympathy? Even if you want to blame, you should still condemn those despicable criminals, okay? Another female classmate, upon hearing Liang Chaoshu's words, immediately became a little dissatisfied. This girl's name is Yuan Weihong. Her words immediately received the approval of another girl, Zhang Nianjia. That's right, the girl in the news is only 18 years old, just graduated like us. Usually, everyone is busy studying at school. Who has time to read news and surf the internet? It's understandable not to be aware of these dangerous things, right? Zhang Nianjia's words were immediately approved by several other classmates. Everyone began to condemn the black and evil gangs in the 6th district. I heard that in the 6th district, scammers and those who harm people in our 9th district are all our own people in the 9th district. Often it's some scumbags who can't survive in the 9th district, or who have committed a crime and escaped. These dog things only know how to deceive our own compatriots. They often deceive people in other regions and damage the international image of the people in our 9th district. It's really despicable. Liang Chaoshu, who was just criticized, said indignantly at this moment and drank the remaining half of the wine in his glass. His face was full of anger, with a fierce expression. Upon hearing this, another boy said naively, at times like this, our special forces should come out and infiltrate the criminal base in the 6th district to kill them all. Then save all the victimized compatriots. Harm, you can pull it down. That's the chaotic and disorderly 6th district. You can go as you please. It's not that simple. So, those damn criminals know this, that's why they dare to be so reckless. There's no way, ordinary people can only curse a few words to vent their frustrations. What can we do? In the private room, there were 4 men, 3 women, and 7 people. Except for class monitor Shen Feng who remained silent, the other 6 were all filled with righteous indignation and couldn't even drink. Shen Feng looked calm as he watched the news on TV. He also felt angry inside about these events. Anger cannot truly solve the problem. To retaliate and crack down on these criminals, one needs to have a plan and strength. Actually, Shen Feng has a secret that he hasn't told anyone yet. He accidentally awakened a golden finger yesterday, called the Super Mercenary system. Watching everyone condemning the numerous crimes committed by criminals one by one, Shen Feng also felt a sense of suffocation in his chest. At this moment, a system prompt suddenly rang out in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the college entrance examination and successfully graduating. Starting today, you will enter society. Activate the task function. Establish a mercenary team. Chapter 2. Why not become a mercenary? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yesterday, the awakened Golden Finger immediately rewarded Shen Feng with a newbie gift package. Shen Feng obtained a wash marrow pill from the beginner's gift package, which can improve his physique and greatly strengthen his own strength. Shen Feng thought that this was all about the system. Unexpectedly, the task system was activated today. It seems that in order for this system to activate certain functions, it needs to complete corresponding operations or encounter related events in order to trigger. Thinking so in his heart, Shen Feng noticed a small detail. The task function activated by the system, the first task issued, has a prompt in the description column below. As long as you complete the task yourself, you can receive rich rewards. Thinking about the Yi Jin Hua Sui Dan from yesterday, Shen Feng's heart suddenly moved. He hardly hesitated and took on the task sent by the system on the spot. Meanwhile, looking up at the friends sitting in the private room who had very close relationships. Everyone was just discussing the news report on TV. Realizing that Sun Sheng was looking at him with a strange gaze at the moment, these 6 people all came to their senses. Alright, everyone, stop talking. Today we welcome graduation, and from now on, everyone has a bright future. We wish everyone the opportunity to be admitted to their ideal university. Here, let's toast the class monitor. The speaker at this moment is Yang Lu, the study committee member. After speaking, she raised her glass and took the lead in toasting Shen Feng. However, as soon as the others picked up their glasses, they saw Shen Feng shaking his head seriously. What's wrong, class monitor? Liang Chaoshu asked in confusion. Yeah, Shen Feng, what's wrong with you? Zhang Nianjia also cast a caring gaze. Everyone has a good relationship, and everyone in this private room knows that Zhang Nianjia actually has a crush on Shen Feng in her heart. Just that layer of window paper has never been punctured. Shen Feng is pretending to be dead, and Zhang Nianjia never voluntarily confesses. The other onlookers can only turn a blind eye. Shen Feng took a glance at Zhang Nianjia upon hearing this and said, "My fellow countrymen are suffering now, but we are here with wine and meat piercing through our intestines." Sigh. This wine today is really not a good taste. When Shen Feng said this, the others looked at each other and instinctively looked at the TV on the left wall. The news I just saw is vivid in everyone's memory. Those animals are really despicable. Treating our compatriots like this is truly inhumane. As Shen Feng spoke, he gritted his teeth and clenched his fists tightly, his muscles condensing and releasing a surge of abundant strength. He wished he had an enemy in front of him now, and let himself punch the other person's dog head. Looking at Shen Feng's indignant expression, those who had already vented their anger just now, look at me again. In that moment, everyone's anger and sense of justice were ignited once again. Yeah, the criminals in the 6th district are so damn. I don't know how many people they have deceived and how many innocent lives they have harmed over the years. The 6th district is also incompetent, even aiding the tyrant in his tyranny. As we chatted, everyone speculated about the fate of the girl on TV just now. After all, everyone is of the same age. In such a situation, there is naturally a crisis of empathy. I think that girl is strong enough to come back. Maybe by the time her family sees the blackmail video, that girl has already been sold. I also guessed that this could be the result. This kind of thing has been reported before. The family members of the kidnapped person received extortion videos, and in a hurry, they repeatedly followed the criminals' requests to send money over. But in the end, what they got was still a corpse with missing arms and legs. Because before they saw the video, that person had already been killed and their organs sold. Upon hearing these words, everyone's expressions dimmed by 3 points. Everyone instinctively remained silent. Apart from silently praying for the fate of the kidnapped girl, it seemed like they could do nothing at this moment. Suddenly, someone slammed the table and said, "Mad. It's really annoying. Unfortunately, our current strength is limited. If I were to become a Special Forces soldier, the first thing I wouldn't let go of would be these beasts. I also thought about joining the army, but unfortunately it wasn't as simple as I thought. I had to go through multiple reviews and selections, but once I got in, I was just an ordinary soldier. Yeah, it's not that easy to become a Special Forces soldier. Besides, sigh. Even if we could become Special Forces, we wouldn't be able to randomly deploy and carry out missions in the 6th District. The 6th District belongs to a region with independent political power, and there is a non-aggression agreement between the 9th District and the 6th District. Under normal circumstances, both parties are not allowed to dispatch armed personnel to each other's areas, which is a basic principle. Everyone is not a child anymore. This common sense is still present. For a moment, everyone fell silent again. We can't be Special Forces, we can be mercenaries. At this moment, seeing everyone quiet down, Shen Feng spoke calmly. Sure enough, with a swoop, everyone lifted their heads and looked at Shen Feng. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net Mercenaries. Captain, are you serious? Zhang Nianjia stared at Shen Feng in surprise with a pair of big eyes. She thought Shen Feng was joking. Unexpectedly, Shen Feng shook his head seriously and said, "Of course I'm not joking, I'm serious. You should also know that mercenaries are widely present in 9 major regions around the world, and many well-known mercenary armies are active in those hot areas for a long time. They are all legal, and some outstanding mercenaries can even directly cooperate with the governments of 9 major regions. So, if we become mercenaries, we can fulfill everyone's aspirations just now." Shen Feng expressed his thoughts in his chest. For a moment, everyone fell silent. They are young and reckless, full of vitality, and have also drank a lot of alcohol. But it's not really about thinking without a brain. When mercenaries go to the battlefield, they sacrifice their heads, shed their blood, and risk their lives to carry out various arduous tasks. When thinking about this kind of thing, it can be very exciting. When it's really my turn, most people will hesitate. Shen Feng saw that everyone was silent and spoke again, "We become mercenaries. The advantage is that we can move freely in the 9 regions and take on tasks. We can also represent our 9th district to punish those criminals. Of course, in addition to receiving task rewards, if we destroy enemy strongholds, confiscate funds, and other good things, they can all be our own. Think about it, it could be millions, tens of millions, or even billions, tens of billions. It's easy to get at that time. Here you are, do you want it or not?" Chapter 3 Show One Hand, Show One Hand. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Money does have a magical power. In this world, everyone needs money, even if they are already millionaires. This group of young people, who were already a bit addicted to drinking, could earn tens or even billions of dollars in black gold when they heard that they would destroy their dens after annihilating the enemy in the future. Suddenly, one by one felt a surge of blood again, and under the influence of alcohol, they even became mentally excited. Class monitor, do you know this kind of thing? Liang Chaoshu is a bit unbelievable. Yes, class monitor, how did you know about this? Sun Bin also became curious. A few 100 million, anyone would be tempted. How many packs of spicy strips can we sell then? Lying down and eating for a lifetime can't finish. Shen Feng saw that everyone had already started to be interested. He no longer hesitated about becoming a mercenary because he didn't understand it. He smiled and said, "How long haven't you watched the news? There are daily reports in the news. Besides, is it still necessary to understand such things? In areas without jurisdiction, you have eliminated all enemies and watched as no one claimed gold, silver, or treasures on the ground. What would you do?" Shen Feng's gentle and persuasive words once again made these young people, who were full of blood and alcohol, feel passionate and hopeful. At this moment, the system prompt sound came to Shen Feng's mind once again. Ding! Detected high morale in the current environment. The morale subsystem has been unlocked. Currently, you have once again obtained the permission to use the morale subsystem for free. You will need to enable it in the future to consume corresponding points. As the sound in his mind echoed, a somewhat surreal interface popped up in front of Shen Feng's eyes. Morale system: by activating this function, you can boost morale for all targets within a certain range, significantly improving their morale. It can also be used for specific goals to inspire them. Note: this use is free, and each subsequent use of this feature will consume points, which will dynamically change based on the number of uses. How could there be such a good thing? Shen Feng saw the illusory panel in front of him, which was only visible to him, and his heart was filled with joy. He looked up at 6 people. I decisively used the morale-boosting function on them. This time, everyone who was already a bit excited and had some excitement, their morale instantly surged and their confidence exploded. Class monitor, even I was tempted by what you said. But don't misunderstand, I'm not for money, I want to bring glory to our 9th district. Yang Lu stood up first and raised her arms, shouting loudly. Everyone was very surprised that she was the first to step forward. However, Sun Zhang Nianjia also stood up and said, "For the glory of our 9th district, I am willing to sacrifice my life to accompany the gentleman." Don't say such unlucky words. Besides bringing glory to the 9th district, we also have to liberate millions of suffering compatriots. That's right. We must make those criminals who harm our compatriots pay the price they deserve. The high morale makes everyone confident in themselves. And this strong self-confidence, in turn, further infects each other, making everyone feel like they have truly become invincible elite mercenaries. For a moment, including 3 girls, everyone in Shen Feng's private room agreed to become mercenaries, bring glory to the 9th district, and punish evil as part of the 9th district mercenary corps. However, even if we have the intention, how can we become mercenaries? Yang Lu is truly a study committee member, her mind is spinning fast. At this moment, she suddenly thought of this question. And even if we register as mercenaries, we don't know how to fight. I'm so big, I've never even seen a real guy with a weapon. Yang Lu's words immediately calmed down the others. They looked at me one by one, feeling a bit confused. Because everyone grows up in the same environment. I haven't seen a real guy since I was young, so it's even more impossible to touch him. Because mercenaries are legalized in all 9 regions, the registration process is very convenient. Shen Feng has already prepared everything. He took out the laptop from his backpack and tapped it twice with his fingers. We can fill out the information registration online and complete the registration. You all have already celebrated your 18th birthday, do I remember correctly? Shen Feng suddenly asked. To become a mercenary, one must be at least 18 years old. After seeing everyone nodding, he continued, as for combat skills, you don't have to worry either. The Mercenary Training Center is specifically established for novice mercenaries. I haven't wasted any time during my winter and summer vacations in the past few years. I have been consistently exercising and receiving relevant training. I will personally be responsible for training you in the future. Shen Feng has full confidence in this. Of course, this confidence actually comes from one's own golden finger. The system not only provides special rewards to oneself, but also helps to strengthen physical fitness. And completing the task of establishing a mercenary army can also earn rewards. Intuition tells Shen Feng that since the system allows him to establish a mercenary corps, there will definitely be subsequent supporting teaching rewards to be distributed. Now, all you need to do is successfully complete the registration and creation process for the mercenary army. Furthermore, the Mercenary Training Center he just mentioned is also a real existence. It's really not possible, everyone can still go there to receive formal training. Upon hearing Shen Feng's words, everyone became curious. Class monitor, have you been secretly preparing to become a mercenary? Good guy, no wonder every time I invite you out to play during holidays, you don't come. It turns out you're secretly becoming stronger and not even calling me out. Class monitor, you're not kind. Class monitor, show us your hands and open our eyes. Everyone became curious when they learned that Shen Feng had received mercenary training. One by one, they followed suit and insisted on letting Shen Fenglu have 2 hands. Shen Feng is certainly not ambiguous. Since we have all reached this point, we must strike while the iron is hot. He grabbed an empty beer bottle from the table and said, "You guys keep an eye on it, don't blink." As soon as the words fell, there was only a crisp sound. The beer bottle in Shen Feng's hand was crushed by him on the spot with his palm. This magical scene left everyone present stunned and amazed. "I'll strangle it." "Are you really playing, class monitor? Blindness or deception, can't you really crush a beer bottle with your bare hands? Class monitor, open your palm and let me see. Is your palm okay?" Everyone surrounded in surprise. Some people are checking the beer bottle fragments on the table, while others are flipping through Shen Feng's palm to see if he is injured or not. They were truly stunned by Shen Feng's ability to show off his skills. Chapter 4 Mercenary Corps. Created successfully. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shen Feng's behavior just now was actually a bit risky. With my strengthened physical strength, it's not difficult to crush a beer bottle, but after all, it's just a flesh and blood body, and glass shards may hurt the palm. Fortunately, his strength is well controlled. At this point, the palm of the hand was only slightly torn, without bleeding or injuring below the epidermis. Class monitor, is this the result of your years of training? It's amazing. Zhang Nianjia was surprised and envious, even looking at Shen Feng with a little admiration. At this moment, others also have their eyes lit up. Setting aside their determination just now, the skill that Shen Feng has shown now is enough to make these young and energetic people of 18 or 19 years old yearn for it. As long as you follow what I say, you can quickly become stronger in the future, even surpassing me is not impossible. Shen Feng encouraged. This statement made everyone's eyes even hotter. Class monitor, you've said that, so what else do we have to say? Of course, we're following you. Yeah, class monitor, we'll just follow you from now on. We look forward to making our name famous and shaking the world under your leadership. I don't dare to think about it, but since you have prepared in advance for so many years, I believe you have a more detailed plan, so I have decided to join. Shouldn't you say you got on the captain's thief's boat? Everyone started joking one by one, with high emotions and a lively atmosphere. At this moment, Shen Feng directly opened his laptop and began logging into the exclusive registration website for mercenaries. This is the official mercenary information filing website established by the 9th District. As long as you are an adult, fill in the information on it and pass the review, and complete the online registration, you can directly become a quasi-mercenary. After activating the golden finger yesterday, Shen Feng actually completed the registration of his mercenary identity. Do you have all your ID cards with you? Let's not talk much, come over and register directly. Shen Feng opened the registration page and said to the others. Class monitor, I'll come first. Please help me register first. Liang Chaoshu took a quick step and handed over his ID card first. Others also took out their ID cards one after another. The registration process is very simple, and the back-end will automatically connect to the internet to review the information of relevant applicants. As long as they are legitimate citizens of the 9th District and pass the review, registration can be completed. This process didn't take much time. Watching Shen Feng submit the final document. The page that refreshed after a few seconds on the computer screen displayed the words, "Approved." At this moment, Wang Shiqiang retrieved his ID card and blinked, saying, "Is that all for now? Am I also a mercenary now?" "Well, the registration has been completed. If the review is approved, there should be no problem." Shen Feng nodded. "This is also too convenient. If only I had known earlier about these things." Liang Chaoshu shook his head and looked regretful. "It seems like missing out on several billion." "Class monitor, what is the name of our mercenary corps? Have you figured it out yet?" Yuan Weihong suddenly asked. Upon hearing this, everyone also turned to Shen Feng. "I haven't figured out a name yet, why don't you use your brain to come up with a more meaningful name?" Shen Feng pinched his chin and suggested. Upon hearing these words, everyone immediately became interested and began to discuss enthusiastically. "I think our mercenary corps should have a unique name that can be recognized at a glance among countless mercenary corps." Liang Chaoshu said with a flash of inspiration, "If you have it, how about calling the Guardian Mercenary Corps? Defender of the Way." Wang Shiqiang rolled his eyes and said, "Isn't that a name? I think it's better to call it the God Slayer." "What do you think of the Tushan Mercenary Corps? Good middle school too." Yuan Weihong couldn't help but shake her head. "Is it a second-year high school? Why don't I think so? Then you come up with one." Wang Shiqiang was a bit unconvinced and looked at Yuan Weihong. "Let's call it the Ninth Guard. This name can tell everyone that we come from the 9th district, and the Guard has always been the most elite unit. I think this name should be acceptable." At this moment, Yan Lu also spoke up. As a study committee member, it has to be said that naming has some connotations. Upon hearing her proposal, everyone thought it was acceptable. However, Shen Feng poured cold water on them at this moment. "This name has already been registered by someone else, everyone can think of another name." Everyone was disappointed upon hearing this, and had no choice but to think again. "You guys are too conservative and serious when it comes to naming, such as the Forbidden Guards, the God Slayer, and so on. I think since we want people to notice us at first glance, we need to give a more provocative name. For example, let's call it the Shy and Fierce Male Mercenary Corps, and I guarantee that others will remember this name right away." Sun Bin furrowed his brows and eyes, scratched his head, and suggested to everyone. However, his words aroused a wave of disgust. "Damn your shy and fierce man, where did you leave our female comrades? Yeah, it's not like we're going to become shy and fierce girls, right? Haha. This name is also good. Dot. Everyone joked and joked with each other. The atmosphere was quite harmonious, but the name of the mercenary corps couldn't be decided after all. In the end, everyone could only helplessly look at Shen Feng, the squad leader, Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net, and their mercenary group leader. Class monitor, you see that the names everyone comes up with are not very satisfactory, so why don't you come up with one? Yeah, you're the leader of our mercenary army. You should give us a name so that everyone can be convinced. Class monitor, you can come up with a name. Seeing everyone's enthusiastic boxing, I happen to have a name in my mind as well. Shen Feng nodded and stood up. If you ask me, we don't need to give too high-profile names. Mercenary group names like Tu Shen and Ao Shi are just trying to cause trouble. As a novice mercenary group, we don't need to be so high-profile and attention-grabbing. Simply put, let's just call the graduate mercenary group. Shen Feng expressed his thoughts. As soon as everyone listened, you immediately fell silent as you looked at me. Graduates, this name is not bad. Yes, we are indeed graduates, perfectly matching our identity. Low-key luxury has connotations, and indeed, it still needs the class monitor to personally handle it. So, since everyone has no objections, should we use this name? Shen Feng said and specifically checked the online record-keeping information of mercenaries. Graduate Mercenary Corps. This name has not yet been used by anyone. No problem, that's it, class monitor. Whatever you say. Finally, everyone finalized the name of the mercenary group. At this moment, a warning sound also came to Shen Feng's mind. Ding! Congratulations on successfully creating a mercenary group. You have received rewards. 100 points, 1 mercenary gift package. Please check in your backpack. Chapter 5. Rewards received, now it's done. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The voice in Shen Feng's mind had not yet fallen. He didn't have time to check what the reward he just received was. At this moment, a new prompt from the system came to his mind once again. Ding! You have new tasks waiting to be claimed. Current. Lead your mercenary team to complete a task and receive rich rewards. Kind reminder. Just leave your hometown for the first time to complete the task. After all, they are all novice mercenaries. To be frank, Shen Feng and his group have undergone a complete transformation, except for Shen Feng himself, who has already passed the system's rewards, washed his tendons and cut his marrow. The other 6 members are all dumbfounded with green hair that hasn't grown properly. To fight criminals, having a passion in the air is not enough. You need to have real combat skills, otherwise you will be sending people's heads. So, the second task of the system only requires Shen Feng to leave Zone 9 with his team members and go to other areas to complete. It looks like there's no problem at all. Shen Feng looked up at the others and found that at this moment, the effect of adrenaline had passed, and alcohol had regained its effect, causing everyone to feel drowsy. These team members, who were already 7 or 8% drunk, were all lying on the table or leaning against chairs to rest. The spirit just now has long since dissipated. Helplessly shaking his head, Shen Feng noticed that it was getting late, so he went to the front desk to settle the bill and then sent these team members home one by one. There's no way, who made him both the squad leader and the leader of the army now. By the time Shen Feng finished his busy work, time had unknowingly arrived at over 1 o'clock in the morning. It took him over half an hour to return to his own home. Fortunately, Shen Feng's parents had already rested, and their return did not catch their attention. Shen Feng felt that his head was also a bit groggy. I rushed back to the room and took a shower, then fell asleep on the bed. The next morning, Shen Feng woke up naturally as usual. Lying in bed for a while, recalling everything that happened last night, Shen Feng sat up and opened his system backpack. Sure enough, I saw a shiny big gift package lying inside. What rewards will be included in the mercenary gift package? With curiosity, Shen Feng directly extracted the large gift package and chose to use it. Ding! Are you sure you want to use the mercenary gift package? Some of the rewards you receive may be located in specific locations and you will need to go to the designated location to collect them yourself. Successfully used. Congratulations on receiving the following rewards. Physical Enhancement Manual, Beginner, *10, Fighting Training Manual, Beginner, *10, Weapon Mastery Manual, Beginner, *10, Weapon Supply Box, 10 people, *1. Your weapon supply box is located at the following location. Zone 6, Southern Coordinates, 298,113. Please go and retrieve it yourself within 3 days. The weapon supply box is currently in a protected state and can only be seen by you and your team members. However, if you do not retrieve it within the specified time, the weapon supply box will disappear completely. When Shen Feng just woke up, he still felt a bit headache. My team members are all beginners among the beginners, and I probably haven't touched them a few times when I come to pick up a kitchen knife at home. Not to mention weapons, combat, and so on. Now, opening the mercenary gift package and receiving these rewards, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Physical Enhancement, Combat Training, and Weapon Mastery. These 3 manuals are very convenient to use. Shen Feng doesn't need to hand them over to anyone, he just needs to choose to use them for specific targets in his system backpack. This way, the other party can gain corresponding training experience. Although they are all beginners, Shen Feng, as a newcomer, is well aware that beginners are already enough to help a pure newcomer grow into a qualified entry-level mercenary. Shen Feng first gave himself a copy of each of these 3 beginner manuals. In that moment, his body immediately felt a strong change, as if it was undergoing transformation. This feeling of rebirth is 3 points stronger than when I first activated my golden finger the day before yesterday and received the newbie gift package reward in the system. Shen Feng felt as if he suddenly had inexhaustible strength. He knows this is a beginner's physical fitness enhancement manual, which brings practical effects to himself. In addition to the strong feeling that his body was getting stronger, Shen Feng's mind was also flooded with a lot of information at this time. This stream of information is constantly rapidly transforming into his own memory. All about combat techniques and the basic usage methods of various types of weapons in the current mercenary world. These information flows are transformed into Shen Feng's own memory, as if identity has been personally trained for a long time. This clear and profound memory made Shen Feng transform from a mercenary novice to a qualified entry-level mercenary. He is very confident now. I rely on my weapon usage and combat skills, as well as my exceptional physical abilities. There should be no problem performing some simple mercenary tasks. After mastering oneself and helping oneself further grow. Shen Feng's gaze fell on the gray weapon supply box in the system backpack. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net. This weapon supply box is currently in an unusable state. Because the system has just mentioned that extraction can only be done at the designated location. And this designated location is not within the jurisdiction of District 9, it is actually within District 6. The time is only 3 days, and we must arrive at the designated location within 3 days to get this batch of weapons. Otherwise, after 3 days, they will disappear completely. Shen Feng thought to himself, opening the task panel and picking up the new task that appeared yesterday. The task requires him to lead his combat team members to leave Zone 9 and travel to any other area. As long as you cross the boundary, it can be considered as completing the task. It seems that even if I feel time is too tight, I have to quickly notify the other team members to gather and prepare for departure. Shen Feng took out his phone and called his team members one by one. I got very drunk last night and was in a mess. So far, none of these team members have woken up yet. Received a call from Shen Feng, saying to quickly gather and prepare to depart. They were all confused one by one. What, squad leader? You're talking about mercenaries. Did you drink too much? Liang Chaoshu yawned on the other end of the phone and asked. I'm not joking with you. Last night, you agreed to register yourself. You are now a registered mercenary. You can check online yourself. Shen Feng knew this was the result, they were drunk and couldn't remember these things. So he reminded Liang Chaoshu and others to search for mercenary identities online on their own. Chapter 6. Departure, Zone 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing Shen Feng's reminder, the team members quickly opened their sleepy eyes and logged into the official registered mercenary website to search for relevant information. Under this inquiry, they found that they had indeed become mercenaries. Everyone suddenly woke up from drinking. I wipe. How could this be? Class monitor, why did I become a mercenary? Liang Chaoshu seems to have not remembered at all what he did last night. At this moment, with a bewildered expression on his face, he was questioning on the other end of the phone. Stop talking nonsense, those who want to know the answer should come out and gather quickly. There's not much time, I'll explain it to you when it's time. Shen Feng also needs to tidy up his things now. Also, I need to apply for a passport or something. After all, they can never directly cross the boundary line of Zone 9 and enter Zone 6. You should know that there are still some areas to be planned between these two regions. There are people from all walks of life, mixed with dragons and snakes. Shen Feng also doesn't want to make unnecessary mistakes. He just wants to quickly get more rewards from the system. Only in this way can we help ourselves and our team members grow rapidly. Enable everyone to become a qualified mercenary. Instead of being a new recruit's egg that could be exposed at any time. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Shen Feng arrived at the local immigration management office. The other team members had not yet arrived, and after waiting alone for a few minutes, the co-workers of the immigration management office finally arrived late for work. Because he arrived early and didn't have many people, there was no need to queue up, so he didn't waste much time. Soon, Shen Feng completed the passport application for himself. In this world, passports can be issued on the spot. At this moment, the other team members also finally arrived. Shen Feng came outside the gate and was stunned, exclaiming inwardly, "Good guy." At this moment, 6 team members. Not only do everyone carry a travel bag and a large suitcase. Moreover, wearing it is also very fashionable and casual. Even Zhang Nianjia was wearing JK all over. Obviously, they still didn't understand what they were saying on the phone, thinking they were going on a trip. Shen Feng was a bit overwhelmed with tears and laughter. But it's okay, they'll know what's going on in the 6th district. Forget it, you guys go apply for your passport first. I'll wait for you here. Class monitor, no, what exactly is the situation? Why did I become a mercenary? Liang Chaoshu is still struggling with this issue. Upon hearing this, Wang Shiqiang snorted coldly and said, "Aren't you being cowardly now? You're just registering as a mercenary. What's so surprising? I'm also a mercenary now." Wang Shiqiang and several other members do remember some things that happened last night. He vaguely knew that he had given his ID card to Shen Feng and asked him to help him register and become a mercenary. The same goes for the other members. So everyone follows the mentality of settling for what they have, and is too lazy to dwell on why they thought about becoming a mercenary last night. Am I cowardly? I'm just asking, why am I cowardly? Upon hearing Wang Shiqiang's words, Liang Chaoshu immediately became dissatisfied. Saying that he hasn't woken up yet and his mind is confused makes him accept it, but saying that he is cowardly is absolutely not acceptable. Yeah, is there anything to be afraid of? Isn't it just registering as a mercenary? We don't need to go to the battlefield to fight against the enemy. Yuan Weihong had a relaxed expression on her face. With her hands spread out, white and polite, she lowered her head and shot 2 gazes from under her large sunglasses, looking at Liang Chaoshu and Wang Shiqiang. Then, he pushed his suitcase to Sun Bin on the side and said, "Help me take a look for a while, sister. I'll go in and apply for my passport." "Excuse me, Sunday." Yang Lu also pushed her suitcase over, thanked her, and then went with Yuan Weihong to apply for a passport. "Hey, you guys should wait for me for a moment." Zhang Nianjia, wearing a JK outfit, quickly glanced at the 4 boys and handed his pink suitcase to Shen Feng, saying, "Can you help me take a look?" After speaking, she also bounced and caught up with those 2 beautiful women. "Boss! Don't look at me, I'm also going to apply for a passport." "Thank you." Wang Shiqiang saw Shen Feng's gaze turning towards him. The suitcase, which had already been pushed towards him, quickly turned and pushed towards Sun Bin. "Your grandfather's, you just need to apply for a passport, right? I don't need it, do I? Class monitor, I think we still need to trouble you." Sun Bin cursed and retorted, then turned his head to look at Shen Feng with a smile and said, "Hurry up and go." Shen Feng was very helpless. But there's no other way. Soon in front of him, 6 large suitcases were arranged in a row. People who don't know thought he was a street vendor selling suitcases. 7 people completed passport processing and arrived at the airport to directly purchase plane tickets to the 6th district. After waiting for 2 hours, the plane boarded smoothly. Everyone's phones are turned off. No one remembers telling their family about their whereabouts. This time, I am really about to leave the native 9th district and head to a completely unfamiliar place. And it is also the infamous 6th district. Fraud, gambling, kidnapping, extortion, and even trafficking in human beings and human organs, all the unimaginable and heinous acts are commonplace there. For a moment, the team members all felt nervous in their hearts. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net, Class Monitor, we won't die outside, will we? Liang Chaoshu asked in a worried low voice, after all, it's the 6th district. His heart is pounding wildly. I am used to living a safe life in the 9th district, and I have a strong confidence in my speech. Anyway, I won't suddenly see someone on the road to expose you. But now, suddenly leave the safe and comfortable living environment and enter a harsh area. If anyone dares to say they are not afraid, they are really a man. Don't talk nonsense, not everyone in the 6th district is a criminal. Shen Feng glanced at Liang Chaoshu, but in fact, he himself also felt a little uneasy. But more importantly, it is anticipation. From the moment they stepped out of their home, they were completely taken the first step on the path of mercenaries. I don't know what kind of exciting life it will be to welcome them in the future. By the way, Class Monitor, are we really going to the 6th district to carry out the mission this time? But we don't understand anything. Wang Shiqiang also leaned in and whispered. Due to the fact that they were sitting together, several team members next to them also listened attentively. You don't have to worry, I've arranged everything. Of course, the task needs to be attempted, after all, isn't that what mercenaries do? But before the official action, I will train you first. Shen Feng looked confident. Just train these team members appropriately and find opportunities to use the training manual for them. At that time, they can quickly form combat effectiveness. As long as there are no accidents, there is no need to worry. Chapter 7. Rewards upon landing. Shuang Guai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After flying continuously for about 7.5 hours, the plane finally landed smoothly at the airport in Zone 6. When Shen Feng and others left, it was still noon, and by the time they landed, it was already evening. Fortunately, as one of the storefronts in the 6th district, the airport security measures here are in place. And there are also many passengers traveling between different regions around the world. After landing, Shen Feng and his group followed the passengers on a shuttle bus and headed towards the terminal building where they left the station. Everything is so orderly, giving people a relaxed and safe atmosphere. This actually diluted the hint of unease and tension in everyone's hearts. Shen Feng is very clear that in order to develop the combat effectiveness of the team members, the first step is to train them and provide them with training related to mercenaries. This process cannot be skipped directly. And it is foreseeable that it will take some time, so Shen Feng has already booked a hotel locally in advance. This is their temporary resting place. After everyone adapts to the environment, take them to extract weapons and equipment. As for the future, we will discuss it later. Just left the terminal. Shen Feng led everyone to stop 2 taxis on the roadside. A system prompt sound came to his mind. Ding! Congratulations on completing the task and receiving the following rewards. Points *100, Medical Soldier Basic Manual, Beginner, *10, Battlefield Rescue Manual, Beginner, *10, Driving Basic Training Manual *10. Please check it in your backpack. Sure enough, the system did not deceive itself. As long as you leave the range of the 9th district and enter the influence range of other regions, you can complete the task and receive rewards. The reward given this time is a bit different. Shen Feng opened his backpack and checked it. Basic Handbook for Medical Soldiers, Beginner. It is a manual that records basic knowledge of medical soldiers, emergency rescue, and other related knowledge. By reading, one can quickly deepen their memory and help learners quickly grasp the basic knowledge and skills of medical soldiers. Field Rescue Manual, Beginner. it is a manual that records knowledge on how to rescue wounded and emergency rescue on the battlefield. Reading can quickly deepen memory and help learners quickly master knowledge and skills related to battlefield rescue. These two manuals are not intended for direct use. They are not like the manuals that Shen Feng received before, but more like physical books. However, these two physical books have special effects. They can help readers quickly grasp the content of the book. For example, under normal circumstances, it may take a month, even 3 months, or even longer for a person to fully remember the contents of the Battlefield Rescue Manual. The Battlefield Rescue Manual produced by the system can shorten this time to 3 days or even shorter. In this way, Shen Feng's team members can quickly grasp these medical knowledge. Shen Feng's gaze instinctively turned to Yang Lu, Yuan Weihong, and Zhang Nianjia. Female comrades usually perform medical tasks in the military. The attack mission is handled by male compatriots. These 3 female team members seem quite suitable to be medical team members. Especially Zhang Nianjia. Shen Feng already had an idea in his heart. The remaining basic driving training manual goes without saying much. As a mercenary, it's unreasonable if you can't even drive a motor vehicle. Not only do you need to be able to drive, but you also need to drive more aggressively. This goes without saying much. Shen Feng's gaze curiously turned towards the integral. When he first received the reward, he also earned points. However, Shen Feng has not been able to understand the purpose of integrals. Now that I have accumulated 200 points, it's time to ask the system what this is for. System, what's the use of this integral? Shen Feng asked directly in his mind. After a moment, he had figured out the general situation. Integral has many functions. Compared to the previous activation of the morale subsystem by Shen Feng, he can activate the morale boosting function by consuming points. The effect will continue to increase based on the number of times morale is boosted. The points consumed at the same time will also increase accordingly. Simply put, it means adding buffs to team members and oneself, and engaging in battles with enemies. You must also fill up the buffs, right? As for the other uses of points, currently Shen Feng only knows that he can open the system mall and use points to exchange items inside. For example, the supply of various combat materials, weapons, ammunition, and so on. There are also emergency food, medical supplies, and so on. Of course, there are other uses for integration, but the system's answer is only a brief introduction without detailed explanation. Shen Feng just learned about these situations. Subsequently, Shen Feng's thoughts were interrupted by another system prompt sound. Ding! You have new tasks to take on. Please check in the task panel. Now Shen Feng doesn't have time to delve deeper into the other uses of points. He instinctively opened the task panel. Sure enough, you have seen a new task. Please complete a mercenary commission task as soon as possible. Completing a mercenary commission task can earn you new task rewards. There is no time limit for this task. However, there is a countdown to taking on the task, with only 30 days left. If you don't take on this task, the 30-day countdown ends, and this task will be automatically deleted. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net. Shen Feng didn't know if there would be a punishment if the system task was deleted, but he took on the task without hesitation. Not for that little reward. Mainly, he enjoys doing tasks. On this side, Shen Feng and his team have arrived at the 6th district and are about to embark on their mercenary adventure. However, on the other side, in the 9th district. Suddenly, several children went missing together, and their phone numbers couldn't be reached through any other means. This has made a group of parents very anxious. Through the parent group of high school students, the parents of Shen Feng, Zhang Nianjia, Ong Lu, Wang Shiqiang, Sun Bin, Yuan Weihong, and Liang Chaoshu have formed a small group and are now anxiously discussing this issue. Have you all contacted anyone else? Do you have any latest news? Yuan Weihong's mother was anxiously speaking in the group. She enjoys reading news very much. Recently, I just saw that several high school graduates were deceived by classmates or friends into moving to the 6th district due to graduation travel. Then he was kidnapped and completely lost contact. By the time we find someone, they will be completely unrecognizable at this moment. The terrifying thoughts that came to mind made Yuan Weihong's mother very worried. What if my own daughter also encounters such a situation? Don't worry too much, everyone. Our children are already adults, they are also very smart and young adults. We should give them more confidence and believe that they can take care of themselves. Yeah, I have already asked my friend for information now. There should be a result soon. Please be patient and wait a little longer. Chapter 8. Teammates are still reliable. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Shen Feng arrived at the hotel with 6 team members. At this moment, everyone remembered that their phone had not been turned on yet. Hey class monitor, our phone has no signal here. Liang Chaoshu, who had just restarted his phone, immediately discovered this issue. Several other team members also expressed the same. You guys are stupid. We're using the 9th district phone card, so of course there's no signal when we get here. If you want to continue using your phone, we need to apply for a dedicated phone card for the 6th district first. What do you think this is? Sun Bin shook a stack of banknotes in his hand at everyone. Hey, are you quite clever, kid? When did you change it? Wang Shiqiang's eyes immediately lit up. Sun Bin turned his head and pointed to the entrance of the hotel, saying, "It's right outside." As soon as I arrived here, I saw a window to exchange currency for the 6th district, and I went over. You guys really don't even know if there's one less team member. It's unreliable. Sun Bin shook his head helplessly. Alright, don't say so much. Let's put the gift up first. Later, everyone will go together to apply for a phone card. Sun Bin also wants to report safety to his family now. To prevent parents and family from worrying about themselves. If they can't find anyone and feel anxious, calling the police won't be fun. Money is easy to handle anywhere. After Shen Feng and others put away their luggage, they quickly processed the local phone card in the business hall downstairs. The phone's signal has been restored and connected to the network. Everyone called and messaged their families to report their safety. Of course, they only said they came for tourism, but they didn't say they came to work as mercenaries to carry out missions. After receiving the information from their children, these anxious parents finally breathed a sigh of relief. Class monitor, what should we do next? Everyone looked at Shen Feng one after another. No one has experience now, except for Shen Feng, the leader of the mercenary corps. Let's first go to the local mercenary association to register and file. Shen Feng answered. Ah. Do we still need to register locally? We have already registered as mercenaries, haven't we? I see that the website has issued certificates for us. Upon hearing this, Liang Chaoshu immediately blushed with confusion and confusion. Although mercenaries are legal worldwide, but each region has different policies and restrictions on mercenaries. For example, in some areas, it is prohibited for mercenaries to go and engage in activities, especially in sensitive military management areas. So, we need to register and file with the Mercenary Management Association locally so that our actions can be recognized and allowed, otherwise it will be an illegal act of military invasion. Yang Lu explained. Seeing everyone looking at her in surprise, she raised the tablet in her hand and asked in a strange way, "Why, didn't you do any homework on this several-hour journey?" Upon hearing these words, everyone suddenly felt embarrassed. Because they spent the entire 7.5 hours on the plane sleeping or chatting. A top student is indeed a top student. TSK, never forget to study wherever you go. Sun Bin looked at the tablet in Yang Lu's hand, where there was still a pile of densely packed text. These are all explanations of the regulations on the management of mercenaries. He felt his head was bigger just by glancing at it, and only Yang Lu had the patience to read so much text. Alright, don't waste any time. Let's go over first. Shen Feng greeted him and turned around to leave. Class monitor, shall we walk over there? No taxi. Upon seeing this situation, Liang Chaoshu didn't understand again. It seems that this guy is also a master who doesn't like learning. This time, before Shen Feng or Yang Lu could explain, Yuan Weihong beside him spoke up. I have checked and found that the local Mercenary Management Association in the 6th district has branches in every city. The one closest to us is less than 500 meters away in a straight line from here. If we walk fast, we can arrive within 10 minutes. And, most importantly, Yuan Weihong finished speaking and looked at Shen Feng's back. Later, she lowered her voice and said mysteriously to the others, although mercenaries are legal all over the world. However, due to the sensitivity and specificity of the tasks carried out by mercenaries, they often need to face different enemies. You don't want to be caught by the enemy's movements as soon as you land, and then ambush and kill them, do you? So when mercenaries arrive at their destination to carry out operations, it's best to try to understand their covert movements as much as possible. We swaggered around the hotel, taking a taxi to the Mercenary Management Association. Guess who the taxi driver would tell the news to when we turn around? Don't look at me like that, as they say on TV, the largest intelligence network component in a region must have a taxi group. Why don't you all watch TV? Yuan Weihong's explanation made all the team members suddenly realize. Shen Feng also looked up to Yuan Weihong's wit and was somewhat pleased. It seems that among our team members, there are still a few reliable options available at UU reading www.uukangshu.net. They have not yet received training, and they have already exerted their subjective initiative to actively learn and learn various knowledge and skills about mercenaries. Looking at it this way, my own training for them should be more time-saving and labor-saving than I imagine. Class monitor, since you brought us here so quickly, you must have other preparations, right? Hurry up and tell us, what exactly is it? After listening to Yuan Weihong's explanation, Liang Chaoshu turned his head to look at Shen Feng and squinted his eyes. Others heard his words and looked at Shen Feng one after another. Shen Feng's heart moved and he responded, I contacted in advance to get us a batch of weapons and equipment. After we complete the registration and filing, we can go and pick up the goods. Next, we will find a place to train you. At least after you have mastered the basic combat skills, we can proceed with the mission operation. With Shen Feng's words, everyone's faces became surprised. Weapons and equipment. I'll go. Is that the real guy, squad leader? Wang Shiqiang's eyes were both shining. The thought of wearing camouflage combat uniforms, wielding submachine guns and swiftly thrusting through the jungle, killing enemies thousands of miles away, is simply cool. Of course it's real, that's why we need to provide you with strict training. Take this opportunity and think carefully about which direction you want to develop in the future. Shen Feng issued a reminder to all the team members. What kind of thing is developing in which direction? Upon hearing these words, Liang Chaoshu became confused again. Chapter 9. Action Code. Monitor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liang Chaoshu blinked his eyes and looked at Shen Feng. The other team members on the side looked helplessly at Liang Chaoshu one by one. Brother Day, your attitude is very bad. Our self-learning ability is too poor. We need to give you some extra classes later on. As Sun Bin spoke, he glanced at the others and then his gaze fell on Shen Feng's face. If I hadn't guessed, what the class monitor meant was to ask us what position we wanted to play in the team. A qualified mercenary team must have outstanding combat personnel and logistical support personnel who can provide immediate support. And combatants can be specifically divided into attackers, explorers, snipers, medical soldiers, and team leaders. As for logistics support personnel, they are divided into various types such as communication and support. However, sometimes these are not independent of each other. If one's abilities are outstanding, one person can also take on the responsibilities of several people at the same time. Sun Bin clearly put in some effort to study the organizational structure of mercenaries. So, at this point, I was quite boastful and analyzed what I had learned. Upon hearing his words, Shen Feng nodded with satisfaction. The other members also suddenly realized. Liang Chaoshu, however, was stunned and said, "I'll be a good boy." So, as a mercenary, there are still so many tricks to follow. Otherwise, what do you think? You wouldn't think holding a weapon in your hand would make you call yourself a mercenary, would you? Every mercenary organization active in various regions of the world is professional. So, class monitor, you must train us strictly. Don't be soft-hearted and afraid that we will suffer. We are not afraid. Zhang Nianjia clenched his fist. A steadfast light shone through the eyes. Sweating more in daily life and bleeding less in wartime, this tenacious and persistent spirit is the same when it comes to studying. They were once able to be admitted to key high schools and become part of the elite class. Although the college entrance examination has ended and everyone has graduated, these qualities are certainly not inferior. Yes, class monitor, even if you train us strictly, we won't be afraid of any hardship or fatigue. I am ready to be ravaged by you, class monitor. What ravages your head? Class leader, he has no culture. You call it whipping us. It drives us to grow as soon as possible. By the way, class leader, what do you think is the most suitable direction for my development? Seeing every word you say, I am very excited about the upcoming mercenary training. Shen Feng's heart twitched slightly at this moment. Since you are all so proactive, let's take a look at the information related to mercenaries for now. I'll just go in and register myself later, there's no need for so many people to go together. Afterwards, we will conduct training to determine who will hold what position in the team based on your own performance. But before that, we need to give everyone a nickname. These nicknames are the codes we use to operate worldwide, including in Zone 9, and will continue to do so in the future. When Shen Feng said he wanted to give everyone a code name, everyone immediately came to their senses. What's a nickname? I'm best at it. I don't need to say much, you all know what my nickname is in class, and I have decided not to change it. Liang Chaoshu stood up first, patted his chest, and said proudly. He is 1.93 meters tall, and in his class, everyone calls him Big. If it weren't for coming from the top class, I'm afraid we would have to add another word before this nickname. However, Liang Chaoshu clearly likes this nickname himself. Then you can call your code name Degu in the future. Wang Shiqiang looked beside Liang Chaoshu, who was almost a head taller than himself, and couldn't find any reason to oppose the other party's use of this nickname. I think the code name Big Brother is a bit too direct. We're mercenaries, what about being a bit aggressive? We have to be a bit aggressive, right? The whole silly code, how much does it cost? Sun Bin shook his head at this moment. Upon hearing this, Zhang Nianjia immediately became interested and blurted out, so why not? Just call him a bear. The bear. This code name is also good. Liang Chaoshu thought it was okay and immediately nodded in agreement. Others sneered at the words. He noticed something was wrong and frowned, wait, bear. With well-developed limbs and a simple mind. Aren't you still calling me a fool? He looked at Zhang Nianjia with a gloomy expression, who was already trembling with laughter. Alright, don't waste time. That's how your code was set. From now on, when we move outside, we can only match it with the code. Shen Feng saw that everyone was still joking and stood up to stop them. At the same time, looking at Liang Chaoshu, he confirmed his code name and called it a bear. What else can you say even if the old man said that? Liang Chaoshu nodded helplessly and dejectedly. If it's just a bear, then call it a monkey. He looked at Sun Bin and reluctantly gave him a code name. Compared to Liang Chaoshu, who has a burly figure and strong limbs, Sun Bin seems to be just like a little monkey. He was tall and thin, looking like a gust of wind could blow him away. I admit, I just can't eat fat no matter what. You don't have to envy me, I'm proud. Sun Bin proudly raised his chin with a proud expression on his face. At this moment, Yuan Weihong smiled and said, Liang Bear, don't look down on those skinny monkeys. Their tendons and flesh are not much worse than your fat-covered muscles. Yuan Weihong has a habit of exercising regularly. So she is quite familiar with some commonly used words in the fitness industry. What kind of paper-wrapped chicken? Where is it? Liang Chaoshu instinctively swallowed his saliva. After 7 or 8 hours of flight, the airlines in the 6th district are really stingy and don't even provide meals. Now when it comes to food, everyone immediately starts growling. It's fat-wrapped muscle, which means the muscles are surrounded by fat outside, not the paper-wrapped chicken you think. Even I know what this means, but you don't actually know. Yang Lu rolled her eyes in frustration. Upon hearing her explanation, Liang Chaoshu awkwardly chuckled, scratched his head, and looked at his fat body. It seems to have a hint of fat and muscle. Alright, Sun Bin, then you'll be called Thin Monkey in the future. Shen Feng once again finalized the code name of a member. Hey, class monitor, what about you? What's your name? Wang Shiqiang suddenly asked, and everyone immediately looked at Shen Feng. Shen Feng knew immediately that this kid wanted to dig a hole for himself. Before they could speak, Shen Feng himself said, I'll call the class monitor. This is my code name for future actions. I would like to emphasize to you again that when taking action, we can only use code names to refer to each other, and we must never disclose our privacy or identity. Chapter 10. Mao Tu Boy, are you coming to be a mercenary? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Shen Feng's wit prevented Wang Shiqiang and others from taking the opportunity to rectify him. Everyone feels a bit regretful, but now Shen Feng's serious expression on his face makes it difficult to joke anymore. After all, this is the 6th district, and it is still the most important to do serious things. Everyone accepted the decision that Shen Feng's code name was Class Monitor. After some discussion, the other members also finalized their nicknames based on their personality traits, appearance, and other characteristics. Wang Shiqiang gave himself the code name Thousand Mile Eye, because his vision is very good, reaching around 5.3. And because Yang Lu has always been a top student, she plays the important role of a study committee member in the class. So, everyone gave her the code name Academic Bully. Zhang Nianjia pays more attention to details and is like a butler in the team, so her code name is Butler. As for Yuan Weihong, she consistently ranks first in her grade in chemistry. Originally, Yuan Weihong intended to give herself a code name of Heisenberg. However, everyone eventually changed Yuan Weihong to Explosive, based on their identity as mercenaries. The reason is simple. If you learn mathematics, physics, and chemistry well, you will not be afraid to travel around the world. In the end, the matter of the team member code was settled, and everyone unknowingly came to the Mercenary Management Association. Shen Feng walked in alone with the necessary application materials. Before leaving, he instructed every member to carefully read and understand various knowledge about mercenaries. At the same time, it intentionally or unintentionally reveals to everyone some knowledge points about weapons and equipment, as well as various combat methods. By patiently guiding, prepare yourself for using the training manual in the future to quickly improve the skills and knowledge mastered by these team members. The Mercenary Management Association usually only records the identity and main activity trajectory of mercenaries operating within its jurisdiction. They are absolutely neutral and impartial, only able to interact with the local government and will not cooperate with any third party. So, there's no problem submitting mercenary information to them. Moreover, in the submitted identity information, there is only a code without a specific real name, which is another effective protection for mercenaries. Shen Feng arrived alone at this Mercenary Management Association. As soon as he walked in, he immediately noticed that there were at least 30 gazes staring at him. The owners of these gazes are experienced fighters who have been carrying out missions outside for years. They each looked like beasts that had set their sights on their prey, staring intently at Shen Feng, a young man with thin skin and tender flesh, whose fur had not yet fully grown. That gaze seemed to still carry a hint of mockery. A little kid. In the crowd on the left, a bald man with dark skin was waiting for the task application to be approved, and he looked at his companion and spread his hand. His face was full of mockery and mockery. Every month, there are a few little ones who don't know if they will come here, which is not surprising, my old buddy. His companion shook his head, his eyes filled with more pity. Humph, the child still doesn't know where they're coming from and what they're about to face. The bald man also shook his head helplessly. After speaking, he lifted the wine jug and took a sip of wine, ignoring Shen Feng. At this point, Shen Feng has arrived at the registration window. The receptionist inside is a woman with short hair and a brownish complexion, who looks 37 or 18 years old, and maybe even older. Seeing Shen Feng, the other party was also very surprised. Although a large number of new mercenaries come to register every day. Some of them are very young. But it's the first time I've seen someone as young and handsome as Shen Feng, who has been working here for so many years. Mercenaries. The surprise on the other party's face flashed away, and they coldly asked. It sounds a bit contemptuous of Shen Feng. A young man like this who hasn't even grown hair, probably doesn't even know how to use weapons. To become a mercenary with a passionate passion. This type of person, to put it bluntly, is someone who can't handle it clearly and has no comparison in their heart. Pure purity comes to give away heads. It's strange not to be underestimated. Yes, I'll register and collect the task. Shen Feng didn't care about the other party's contempt for him, and while answering, he handed over the application materials to the other party. What about your team members? The other party continued to ask coldly. I came to register on their behalf. This won't work, they must also be present. The woman immediately raised her head and answered with a serious, even slightly annoyed expression. Shen Feng's brow furrowed for a moment. He clearly remembers the registration of the Mercenary Management Association, which can be completed without the need for all team members to be present. Perhaps this place is quite unique, as each place has its own rules. Shen Feng didn't say much either. After agreeing, he took out his phone and sent a message to the team members waiting outside, asking them all to come in. Meanwhile, within the 9th district. A group of parents of students breathed a sigh of relief after receiving the news of peace from their children. They were all worried to death, thinking that something had happened to their children and they suddenly lost contact. Everyone, it seems like something's not quite right. My son said he's traveling in the 6th district. A mother suddenly held her phone and became anxious again when looking for the book garden www.zhaozuiyuan.com. Pointing to the message sent to him by Wang Shiqiang, he anxiously said he went to the 6th district with other classmates. Why did he suddenly run to the 6th district? The 6th district is now synonymous with hell. Various criminal activities are rampant there, even affecting people in the 9th district. Now everyone's color changes when talking about the 6th district. Upon hearing this, other parents also became more serious. What's wrong with the 6th district? Some parents, who are usually too busy with work and don't read much news, can't help but wonder. What's wrong with the 6th district? It's a paradise for criminals. Kidnapping, selling silver, gambling, extensive reading, human trafficking, organ smuggling, in other activities have no one to restrain or prohibit them. There are even rumors that local officials are involved. Upon hearing Wang Shiqiang's mother's words, other parents suddenly felt goosebumps all over their bodies, their scalp tingling and their eyes shaking. My daughter also said she was traveling in the 6th district, how could she suddenly go there? Did someone deceive them? Thinking of the recent news on TV, there are several female high school students who were deceived into going to the 6th district and still have lost contact, unable to live or die for a moment. All these parents panicked. Why don't we just call the police? Someone anxiously suggested. Don't worry, first contact them and confirm how they got there. Yes, call them and ask them to come back as soon as possible.